कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः परमव्योमभास्करः।
श्रीमते निगमान्त महादेशिकाय नमः। Sita was extremely delighted to receive the Ramanamankita Anguliyakam, the ring of Rama, with his name inscribed on it. So she accepted it. Grihitva prekshamanasa bhartukkara vibhushanam bhartaram iva samprapta janaki mudita bhavat. She went speechless. She was so delighted to receive the ring. In turn, she also told Hanuman that I will not be able to come with you because I have to wait for Rama to fight Ravana. Let him win Ravana. Let him take me from Lanka. That will be a royal treatment given to me. Hanuman, you do not know. Bhasma bhasmarha tejasa. Or sollinal shuduven, says the Tamil poet Kamban. I will be able to burn the entire Lanka, the entire geography that he owns with one word of mine. But I will not. Let Rama come fight Ravana and take me home. So, as she says this, Hanuman then decides that if Mata has decided I cannot intervene in that, please give me any other insignia that I can carry to Rama. She gives the crest jewel, which is a gem-studded, I would say, a hair clip of these days, called Chudamani. As Hanuman receives it, he requests Mata, can you please tell me one incident which is probably known as a private incident known only to the both of you, you and Rama, and even Lakshmana doesn't know, the world doesn't know. So when you tell me this, I will be able to go tell Rama about that incident and he would for sure know that I have met Sita. That is when a Sharanagati is featured. We have seen in many episodes, Sharanagati is the central theme. Be it the Sharanagati of the Devas to the Lord, be it the Sharanagati of Shunashepa to the deities of Rigveda, be it the Sharanagati performed by Dasharatha Chakravarti to Parashurama, be it of Lakshmana to Rama and Sita, or be it of Bharata to Rama and Sita, be it the Rishis who perform Sharanagati to the feet of Rama. So whichever Sharanagati we have seen, time and again in the Ramayana there is Sharanagati. This is one such Sharanagati. Sharanagati performed by a crow. It is a Kaka Sharanagati. Where does this occur? This comes in Ayodhya Kandam. When I say Ayodhya Kandam, while Rama and Sita and Lakshmana were stationed in a place called Chitrakutam, this incident occurs. But this incident which occurs is not mentioned in Ayodhya Kandam. Rightfully, Chitrakuta Vasam of the tree happened while it was in Ayodhya Kandam. But it is not narrated there. That incident which took place in Chitrakutam has been mentioned here in Sundara Kandam through Sita. So Sita tells Hanuman, all three of us, Rama, me, and our son like Lakshmana, all three of us were living in the forests of Chitrakutam. While we were living in the forests of Chitrakutam, one day after a sumptuous lunch which was served to the both of us, to Rama and me by Lakshmana, Rama wanted to take some rest. So we sat under the shade of a large tree, and as Rama was resting, he placed his head on my lap. I was leaning on the trunk of a tree. Rama kept his head on my lap and we were resting. Today we call it the power nap. And after food, when you get it, some people say it's called carbo coma. Because of carbohydrates, you fall into a temporary coma. It's called carbo coma. Or some say it is just like a power nap, whichever name. So Rama was resting. That is when a crow, which was seated for quite some time on the branch of the tree under whose shade Rama and Sita were, was looking at Sita. Birds can get really scary. At times, on my personal experience, when I travel to certain countries, the hosts there, the astikas there say, Swami, be very careful while you're walking on this path. You'll get some dark birds. They will just come and prick your eye. Be very careful. So birds can get a lot scary. So Sita was resting. This bird, this crow which was seated on the branch of the tree, was looking at Sita. It came down because it had the interest to taste Sita's flesh, tender flesh. So the kaka came and started pricking Sita's bosom. So as it pricked her tender bosom, there was a hole there and blood started oozing. And that small piece of that flesh, the bird took away and went to the branch and started eating, and there was blood dripping. Now, as this blood was oozing, Sita, being a very, very sensitive lady, she was a princess earlier, now a heir apparent's queen, now who has just been languishing in the forest, couldn't take the pain. So she started withering in pain. There was some shivering in the body because of that pain. As she shivered, Rama, who was resting on her lap, realized that there's something wrong because, as the body trembles, Rama could sense there's something wrong. He opened his eyes, got up and checked at Sita's bosom. It was all drenched in blood. Blood was oozing. And then tears were rolling down her cheeks, but she didn't open her mouth. She couldn't take that pain. Immediately, Rama checked to the branch around. He checked around, then checked to the branch. He saw a bird seated there. The bird's beak and the beak dripping in blood. Ardra aparadha. He had just committed the crime. It is not as if the crime was committed 10 years before and then there was some remorse. He had just committed the crime. Fresh criminal. Ardra aparadha. So Rama could sense what would have happened. See, that is the greatness of a warrior. A warrior has to be very, very smart. He didn't ask Sita, Sita, tell me from the first who came and pricked you. Then Sita will start telling what had happened. By the time she narrates, the bird would have flown away. So he knew this is the pain Sita has. Blood is coming. On the other side, on the branch of a tree is a bird. That too with big beaks dripped in blood. That is when Sita says, Tvaya vihasita chaham kruddha sanjalita tada bhakshya griddhena kakena darita tvamupagata. She said, Rama, I didn't want to wake you up, but this is the pain because of the crow that I am feeling this pain, because the crow had physically assaulted me. Now what Rama does? He senses some grass around him. Because he is seated under the shade of the tree, he senses some grass. He takes one blade of the grass. Sometime back in Sundara Kandam, Sita too took a blade of grass and kept it between her and Ravana. Trinam antaratah kritva. Why does she do that? Because she has already had an experience in the past. Rama takes a blade of grass, does the Brahmastra mantra ucharanam. Because in Dhanur Vidya, in this art of learning archery, there is a technique called Aishikam. Aishikam says that any object with the help of a mantra can be converted into an astra. So by reciting the Brahmastra mantram, this blade of grass can also turn into an astra. So that is when Rama does the Brahmastra mantra ucharanam. Sadarbha sanstarat grihya Brahmanostrena yojayat Sadiptaiva kalagnir Jajwala bhimukho dvijam. So he got extremely worried. He took the blade of grass and did the Brahmastra mantra Uccharanam. So we have seen who has committed the crime. We have seen the crime. We have seen the alarm or the complaint raised by the victim party. We have seen what action Rama is going to take as the person who is going to defend the victim. We have seen all the four. Where does the Sharanagati feature here? Who is this crow? Valmiki says that this is the son of Indra. The crow is the son of Indra. Now comes a bigger question. Sir, forget Sharanagati. How can Indra give birth to crows? Correct. So there are two ways that we can understand this. One, it is very common even these days where you go to many family houses, you check that there are many pets. There will be a puppy, there will be a cat. So if you ask them, is this your dog? They get offended. They say, this is not my dog, this is my child. So there is a common trend that we see these days where families adopt animals as just not pets, as their own children. So Indra and his wife Indrani, Shachi Devi, could have adopted a crow as their very dear pet or child. One. Second, one of the other reasons given is Indra had the ability using Ashtama Siddhi to convert himself into anything of his choice. So at one point in time, the theory states that while he was walking by the garden along with his wife Indrani, he sensed, he had a feeling to be with her as a couple, to have a physical relationship with her. That is when Shachi Devi or Indrani says, this is the evening time, not a very appropriate time. We have heard of Diti Devi who did the same thing during Raudra Muhurtam along with Kashyapa Maharishi and thereby ended up having children who were not so very helpful to the society. They were antisocial in nature. So let's wait for some time. We should not do it in this form. That is when Indra said, when we cannot do it in this form, Deva form, by Ashtama Siddhi, I will convert myself into a male crow and I shall convert you into a female crow. And then we can have a physical relationship and we can lay eggs. So he was in the urge to fulfill his lust. And thereby the egg was laid and as a result formed was this baby crow which grew up into the crow which has hurt Sita. So if you see, Diti Devi who was warned by Kashyapa Maharishi to not have a physical relationship in the evening time because it will end up having children who are not so helpful, thereby having Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, in this state, they produced this crow which was again not so social, it was antisocial in nature. That said, what are the two theories? One, the crow could have been adopted or the crow could have been produced. In whichever case, Valmiki suggests that this crow is the son of Indra. There it stops. But there are some Puranic statements which state that this crow was none but Indra's son Jayanta. Now, many of us may ask, yes sir, Indra's son is Jayanta. If you are saying that Indra's son is the crow, then the Jayanta must have been the crow. This theory you may ask. But again, there is a debate on this. See, Indra was not into any family planning program where he would say that I will have only one son or one daughter. He may have many children. So, Jayanta could be one, crow could be the other. But the point is, how should we interpret the Ramayanam? This is where one of the greatest Acharya Varyas and Acharya Sarvabhauma Vedanta Deshika states 750 years before in his commentary to Stotra Ratnam, he says in Stotra Ratna Bhashyam, Na ayamapi Jayantaha. This is not Jayanta. Why? Because when the Itihasa, that is Ramayanam states, this is Kakamatra, Indra's son in the form of a crow and doesn't mention of his name, whereas the Purana says this is Jayanta, which statement should we give more importance? Vedanta Deshika says, Itihasa statement should be given more importance. So if Ramayanam says Kakamatra, it means only Kaka, because if Valmiki had known that this was Jayanta, he would have mentioned this as Jayanta. Since he knew this was not Jayanta, he uses the word Kakamatra. So it is wrong to conclude that this Kaka is Jayanta, is what Vedanta Deshika suggests. Let's keep that aside. Let this crow remain a crow, the son of Indra. But what did Rama's astram do? And how did the crow survive Rama's anger? Because Rama is very strict. He punishes people who make such criminal offenses. Did the crow survive? More in the next episode. Dear Astika reader, I am happy to be authoring a 2-part book on the Ramayana in English. The first part is slated for release in the year 2024. The book aims to recreate and retell the Ramayana of Valmiki, conforming to the ancient commentaries and other allied literature. To receive notifications of the book release, kindly register with www.deshikadaya.org/books. Namaskaram.